Do you know, Adam Catro, I can't even believe that TalkSport use him. And it's slanderous what he said. That is slanderous. And he will be getting, and I'm telling you, from me, he will be getting a solicitor's letter on Monday, and he will be apologising for what he said and for what he's saying.
Okay, so the Tyson Fury Alexander Usyk fight has been booked again for May 18th. So I made a video yesterday about the Fury fight being cancelled, as I saw there was a pretty huge number of people online that were speculating about whether or not Fury basically backed out of this fight. Did so by orchestrating a fake eye injury, as there was a lot of conspiracy theories going around, mostly on YouTube and Twitter. Before anyone jumps in the comments and says, "I told you so," like, you said that this was fake, blah, blah, blah. I never said it was a fake injury, and I was arguing for the people saying that this was just a bogus video and that Fury was trying to back out of the fight. Congratulations to Ariel Helwani for getting the exclusive interview with Tyson Fury and Usyk on the MMA Hour. That's actually huge that he was the first one that got to interview these guys. I mean, it's interesting that during the interview, he even asked Tyson Fury if the cut was caused by the elbow that we all saw in the video, and Fury didn't seem to know what the video was. He said he hadn't been on social media or online, so he wasn't sure which video they were referring to. That's all I'm going to say about it. We're all going to speculate. No one's ever going to know the truth anyway. It is what it is. The fight was cancelled. It's been rescheduled. Now the key thing here with the fight being rescheduled for May 18th is that Turki Al-Sheikh, who is, I mean, this guy's just been popping up everywhere lately. He seems to have taken over the boxing world. So he's basically somebody who works for the government in Saudi Arabia. I believe he is the chairman of Authority for Entertainment. First of all, this guy looks like he does not fuck around. He seems like a serious dude to deal with. Personally, I would not want to be the other boxer who caused this injury to Tyson Fury if that was the case, because this guy legitimately seemed pissed off during this interview. He had sunglasses on and he looked like he had some like Bond villain vibes going on. But anyway, he basically came out and said, look, if I thought this was a fake injury, I would not be sitting here with Tyson Fury. He also told Ariel and all boxing fans that they can be assured that this fight will take place May 18th. There is absolutely no doubt. And that is because if either of these fighters pull out, they're going to be fined $10 million of their own money for pulling out of the fight, which is interesting. I mean, it definitely does heat things up a bit and makes it interesting. The thing that I'm really sort of wondering though is, how do you fine someone $10 million for pulling out of a fight if they actually have a legitimate injury? Like, so had this clause have been in the contracts for this fight, does that mean Fury would have had to pay a $10 million fine? Surely there would have to be some fine print there where it says if the fighter is injured and cannot make the fight, he doesn't have to pay the fine, right? So I feel like there's still a workaround for that. The irony of all of this is that Tyson Fury was the one who threatened to sue Alexander Usyk back in October if he didn't show up to the scheduled fight in December of 2023, which he ended up pulling out of because he took the fight with Ngannou and got smashed around the ring for 10 rounds by Francis. So I don't know how all this is going to play out. At least is a positive sign that they've made a date rather than just left it all hanging. May 18th seems fairly soon. I mean, like, that's basic. We're in February now. It's like February, March, April. It's basically 3 months away, which is a training camp. So I guess the hope is that the cut will heal in a couple of weeks and then he'll get right back into training. Something else I also found interesting and pretty funny was Frank Warren, who we all know is Tyson Fury's manager. He basically came out guns blazing saying that he was going to send a lawsuit letter to Adam Catro. I don't know if that's how you spell his, I don't know if that's how you say his name. Adam Catro. I think it's Adam Catro, for saying on his BT Sports show basically that we don't know for sure if Tyson Fury is telling the truth here or whether or not he got injured because of his track record. Like, we just don't know. And, you know, when you're the boy who cried wolf so many times and you do so many things, it's hard for people to believe you. And I kind of saw his point with that.
So fans are well within their right
to question.
Yeah. To doubt. There's no timestamp on that video. You don't know when that video was made.
Frank Warren says he's going to send him a letter from his lawyers and he's going to take him to court for defamation.
Do you know, Adam Catro, I can't even believe that TalkSport use him. And it's slanderous what he said. That is slanderous. And he will be getting, and I'm telling you, from me, he will be getting a solicitor's letter on Monday, and he will be apologising for what he said and for what he's saying.
Frank Warren seems like, I mean, obviously Frank Warren is a smart businessman. He's made a ton of money in the industry, and I'm sure he knows a thing or two about contracts and the judicial system. For him to think he can just sue a sports commentator for merely speculating about whether or not an injury actually took place, considering like all we're going off is this grainy video footage that really shows nothing, is kind of hilarious. I don't know why he said that. He's clearly not going to do that. If that was the case, he could just go around suing anybody who talks shit about Tyson Fury, which is a lot of people. Adam Catro is a commentator, and that's his job, is to commentate on sports. I, for one, don't agree with 90% of the stuff he says. I think he's quite a bit of a homer when it comes to English sportsmen, but I think he's quite on the money when it comes to talking about Tyson Fury. And I think Frank Warren needs to be a little bit more self-aware when it comes to him and Fury's business dealings. Everybody has witnessed Fury's antics over the last few years, and all people online were doing were pointing out the fact that, you know, you can't go pulling all of these shady moves all the time, like giving people unreasonable deadlines to sign contracts like he did with AJ, asking for crazy splits like a 70-30 split with Usyk, who holds 3 of the belts, and, you know, retiring and then coming back out of retirement just to avoid certain fights. Like, you can't do all that shit and pull all this shady stuff and expect people to take you at face value every time you talk. Like, that's just not how it works. Frank Warren, I think you've brought that on yourself, mate, and threatening to send out lawsuits to people, I think, is absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, look, I guess it looks like the fight is back on, and hopefully it does happen, because I think this is the 4th time now that they've been booked, and if this one falls through, it's not going to get booked again. Like, it's just going to be one of those things where we'll be talking about how we wish this fight happened and it never did. But I'm going to be optimistic here, and I'm going to say I hope this fight happens. I recently put out a poll on my channel on whether or not you guys think this fight will happen, and so far it's at a 50-50 split. So I think the growing sentiment is, yeah, we want this fight to happen, but we just don't know. Let's all just collectively be positive and assume that this fight will take place and no more shenanigans are going to go on and no one's going to get injured in training. Just maybe wear some better headgear, or maybe train with some better sparring partners. I don't know. Be careful is all I'm saying, because we all want to see this fight, and let's make it happen. May 18th. Let's fucking go.